Trace the physical journey of a t-shirt from a factory floor in China, across the Pacific Ocean, and through a domestic sorting facility. It arrives at your front door in a plastic pouch, having traveled 10,000 miles. The price tag is $3. That payment covers the raw cotton, the factory labor, the jet fuel, and the final delivery driver. This visualization compares those overhead costs against the retail price. Shipping physical goods across the globe for less than the cost of a cup of coffee is mathematically impossible to achieve with a profit. Traditional retailers are bound by the realities of commercial rent, utility bills, and local labor laws. They cannot lower their prices to this level without immediately going out of business. A hidden deficit exists behind every one of these transactions. You are paying a fraction of the actual cost because outside forces are subsidizing the rest of the bill. When these local retailers vanish, the tax revenue they once contributed to their home cities vanishes with them. We are watching the deliberate destruction of community resources and abandoned storefronts to subsidize a $3 t-shirt. The apps hosting these storefronts rely on psychological triggers rather than traditional retail layouts. Their interfaces are architecturally modeled after casino gambling. They employ aggressive dopamine loops to drive sales, integrating spinning roulette wheels and flashing countdown timers to create a sense of urgency. These companies intentionally lose up to $30 on every order. They use massive injections of venture capital to sustain these losses while they wait for their competitors to fail. These platforms spend billions on marketing with a singular focus, bankrupting every other competitor in the market. The massive expense of a Super Bowl commercial is a calculated investment in total market dominance. This pricing strategy serves as a weaponized loss leader. It utilizes aggressive psychological tactics to establish a retail monopoly that traditional shops cannot survive. The most effective tool in this strategy is an obscure legal mechanism called the de minimis loophole. Standard retailers import goods using massive maritime shipping containers. Because these shipments are high volume, they are heavily regulated and taxed at the border. These import tariffs generate millions of dollars for the national treasury, providing the necessary funding for local infrastructure and public budgets. Fast fashion giants bypass this system by flooding the Postal Service with over 1 billion individual microparcels every year. Under current trade law, any individual package valued at less than $800 enters the country duty-free. Each of these millions of parcels zips past the customs toll booth without paying a cent in national tariffs. This scale of tax evasion drains billions of dollars in potential public funding from the national economy annually. This loophole forces every local, tax-paying storefront to subsidize the untaxed invasion of their own algorithmic replacements. Behind the digital interface, the products originate in residential microfactories. These operations exist entirely outside the reach of human rights oversight and safety regulations. Laborers in these underground garment shops work under conditions far more extreme than the standard 996 culture, often sewing in high-density residential blocks without basic fire exits. Independent lab tests in 2026 revealed the chemical reality of these clothes. They found concentrations of lead and phthalates that spike wildly past safe regulatory limits. Consumers are unknowingly exposing themselves and their families to high levels of dangerous, non-compliant toxins every time they wear these garments. The low-grade polyester used in these items is intentionally fragile. It is designed to fall apart within weeks, ensuring a rapid path from the doorstep to the landfill. The brief thrill of an unboxing video leaves behind a permanent legacy of synthetic waste, burying the natural coastlines of the global south in non-degradable polyester. Governments are finally beginning to address these unregulated retail exploits. The era of the tax-free parcel flood is nearing its end. In 2026, the United States is moving to close the de minimis loophole, a move that would force every incoming foreign parcel to face mandatory taxation and inspection. Parallel actions are taking place across Europe. France has already implemented a specific fast fashion tax designed to break the economic incentive for disposable clothing. Legislation alone cannot outpace a predatory algorithm. The survival of local commerce depends on consumer participation. Every cheap, disposable purchase serves as a direct vote to shutter the businesses on your own street. We must decide if a fleeting dopamine hit is worth the permanent hollowing out of our cities. Cheap things cost far more than their price tag suggests.